technically not Radio Land. I guess.
Okay, we are recording.
I don't know what that is.
Get Around the Block podcast, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I like that. Unless you like
Who's doing that?
You're making so much noise.
Sorry.
You want to do intro or me?
Do we have a new intro?
We'll just introduce ourselves.
Okay.
We have a new rap intro?
What?
We have a new rap intro?
Yeah.
Yo.
Welcome to Bit Around the Block. I'm Brooks Southard.
I'm Chris Ross.
Brittany Roberts.
Bradley Nemo Sparks.
And our special guest.
Emake Fisher.
Oh yeah, we're going to get this started today. We've got a new co-host with us. What do you prefer to go by?
Go by Nemo.
Nemo?
Sparks,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll go with that then. So, we'll kind of do an introduction to him after this episode, but it's not going to be in that order when we actually post everything. So,
We're going to trick y'all.
yeah, it's going to be weird. So, this is technically episode 6. Episode 5 is going to be intro to Nemo.
Okay.
So, all right, without any further ado, welcome our special guest, McLeod.
How do you do?
Very
Hey,
good.
brother.
Hey, brother. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, am I supposed to give like a monologue or something?
Yes.
Just tell us about
Do a
yourself.
soliloquy if you want. I mean,
I like long walks on the beach.
what's your sign?
Oh my god, I was
Virgo.
gonna say that.
Like, King of the Virgos.
I heard
was
you got
nominated last year.
I heard you got oceanside property in Oklahoma.
Something like that. Swamp side. Nah, it's good to be here. Always good to contribute and to be a part of anything moving in Oklahoma City. I love my city. I love my people. Here we are. Don't look like that. This is a beautiful,
She hates
comfortable,
Oklahoma City and
Love
Oklahoma in general.
stable, reasonably priced city. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Neil, what do you love
Great
about the city?
What do I love about my city?
Yeah.
I love that it's spread out. You know, it's not like Tulsa. So I grew up half my life around Tulsa, and it's real congested there. So I like Oklahoma City, it's more spread out. But I love that if you are from here and you go somewhere else, people ain't gonna know. They ain't gonna be able to tell that you're from here. And so we got all kinds of variety of people. So that's what I love the most. And I just got a lot of love for my city. Period.
Very true. And so when he talked about the property deal, like I got a little spot in kind of like the country, but it's only like 30 minutes away. So it's close enough to be close when I need to be close,
Yeah.
but far enough to be far when I don't want to fuck with nobody. Can I cuss in here?
You can say where the fuck
Okay.
you want.
When I don't want to fuck with nobody or going to be fucked with, like boom, I got my little spot out there. Leave me the fuck alone.
I have fun when I came up to your spot.
Thank you. Thank you. We burn things. As a matter of fact, sometimes explode things, you know what I mean?
We are not against
Brittany, you
that
remember the pyromaniac donut when we were talking about being a pyromaniac?
Yes.
feel
This
like
dude
we
had a
called that
fire.
out.
2 episodes.
How high do you think that fire was whenever we were out at your property? About 40 feet?
Probably not 40 feet, but I sure hope Nicole Park Fire Department don't see this because they are really.
Allegedly, we use that a lot. Allegedly.
Oh my god.
So are we talking recovery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking-
When's your sober date, Fish?
September 23rd, 2017, and for that I'm truly grateful.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It's amazing.
One time I got pulled over by police and they was like, it gets like so in your vocabulary, but they was like, he was like, well, what is this? Was this some ashes or something like this? You know, was this marijuana? I was like, sir, I've been sober since September the 23rd of 2017, and for that I'm truly grateful. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I got you. But yeah, it's crazy.
So you work a program. We're gonna leave it as anonymous as that. But you work a program, and just go on about that, man.
The program? My program?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to go into specifics, but you work a program to stay sober.
I do. I have a community of people that we support each other, and we've all had similarities within our backgrounds, and we share experience, we motivate each other, and what's most important is we help somebody else, we show them the way. And so this fraternity that I'm a part of is exclusive and beautiful, and it's not necessarily Illuminati, but it kind of got some triangle vibes and stuff in it, you know.
I have heard it called a cult before.
Yeah, me too.
It wouldn't necessarily qualify for a cult because we don't have a living leader, and it's not supposed to be one leader. I took a class called sociology, cults and followings. So,
Like in college, you chose that?
yeah, it just sounds.
Okay.
No, as a matter of fact, let me take that back. No, I took sociology of the death and dying, but the teacher, he also taught cults and followings.
That makes
and
sense.
so I had to ask him that question, like, what is this particular fraternity? Is it a cult? And he gave me the reason. He says very similar, very close, but not quite. we didn't make the cut, y'all.
Yeah.
Do you
I
have a
know.
favorite cult?
No, I don't even know the other cults.
So you did say it was.
You just said it was a cult.
I don't know the other cults.
Damn, no. Do you have a favorite cult?
No. I just know there's a lot.
Do you know of any other cults?
I do.
I didn't know this was
The
one.
Jim Jones
It's not.
had a cult.
That's right, he did.
The
We
guy
studied
that did the yoga and then
Wait.
went to Texas.
Waco?
Not the Waco guy. He
David
was
You're
like
thinking
David Koresh.
He
David
was-
Koresh.
the porn star guy.
No, what?
He was a porn star, and then he became a yoga man. He was like at an accent. I don't know.
Ron Jeremy?
He
Alright,
was- he
before we
ended
get too off track, what was your drug of choice?
I mean,
Yes.
The
that's kind of mine too. I mean, I had a transition, so it just moved through like before prison. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get there, but before prison, I didn't really do too much. I smoked weed, drank like a fish, of course. Ecstasy, Molly, cocaine, PCP, Xanax. So much. I did some things,
You
but it
didn't
was
do the
all
hard
like
shit.
yes. But when I got to prison, I started moving into more advanced.
Societally looked down upon drugs.
Yeah, like my favorite at the end was definitely meth.
Wow. That's
In moderation, it's all right.
You know,
Now,
moderation is not.
I think that's an oxymoron.
yeah.
Just kidding.
It's like, oh, let's have brunch and would you like some meth?
Man.
No.
Just saying, Ritalин's only a molecule away.
That's true. Actually.
Yeah.
It's-
In moderation. Just kidding.
What?
Go on. Whatever.
Do you know a moderate meth? I don't even know a Ritalin user.
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't know any
I'm on it
moderate
right now.
users. It's not my kind of people. Like
I do know some moderate like weed smokers and drinkers, but not heroin users or.
really, so every weed smoker I know smokes every day, all day.
In excess.
They smoke every day. So I mean,
I
is
know
that
some
moderate?
I know some old people
Is that considered moderate?
that just do maybe morning and night.
But I mean, that's every day. So is that moderate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's only like.
I mean, it is to me
To go
because
to
when
sleep.
I smoke weed,
Oh,
I
all day,
smoke
every day.
all day,
Yeah. Okay.
every day.
It's a problem now.
As soon as I got in the car, it's like smoking a cigarette. Like smoke some weed, then smoke a square.
All right, I know this is kind of off topic, but what do you think the Super Bowl's rigged?
Yes, probably.
I do too. I do too. All right, we can
Is it
stop
just
there.
because?
That's a whole rabbit hole.
No,
You
I
wanna-
want to go.
I
on
do
this
too.
conspiracy
I mean,
theory.
Especially after what I saw this past year, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
What about Facebook shutting down and the cell towers shutting
Well,
down?
Google and all kinds of shit shut down. AT&T.
Everybody freaked the fuck out.
I didn't
there
know.
are more things that are controlled elements in our society than we can probably imagine. And they
I
are
imagine
probably
them all.
influenced, not necessarily the individuals involved. They may not know the intricacies of the state of control, but surely the higher powers that be have so much influence about what goes on here. I mean,
Well, they say 2% of the people have 98% of the money,
Yes.
and then flip flop on that.
What do you think about, like, do you believe in, like, industry plants and stuff like that?
Yes.
Like 1090 Jake, they say 1090 Jake's an industry plant. And then you got like Bobby Acha. 1090 Jake's like one of the guys that gets on there. He's like a vlogger, I guess. And he would like talk about who's snitching and this and that. And he got
Like Cat
Bobby.
Williams.
Well, not Cat Williams. He definitely told his everything.
Is he a plant?
Well, he may be. I mean,
Is he?
I mean, who cares? Like, this goes down. How does that affect me? Not at all. Right.
Boom.
I mean, the societal thing does.
Well, implicit biases do, right? And so implicit bias affects us all by influence of media or what we're doing right now. The best state to kind of, contradict or go against that is just awareness. So if we make ourselves aware that we are affected by implicit biases, then that'll give us our best effort to kind of combat that and not be pushed by what society wants us to think and all of that stuff, man.
True that.
You know how I stopped? Because I was really wrapped up in all that bullshit especially around COVID, and I just stopped watching the news and stopped plugging into it. Like, I don't even, when somebody tells me some new shit, I'm like, nah, I didn't know that. Because I really don't pay attention to it. And it really does not affect me. It doesn't.
Did you watch the news prior to that?
I mean, I think everybody in prison watches the news.
We
You know.
They do?
Yeah, you ain't got nothing else
Yeah.
to do. You got a TV at the end of your bunk.
Yeah.
Why would you watch news?
Because
It is
You
interesting.
don't have like Hulu? Or...
No.
I
mean, you got a phone.
if you in a private prison, you do got some cable networks.
I had
Been
a
in a
Roku.
private prison?
Yeah.
Oh, you fancy bitch?
So I've been to
I
two.
mean, you don't really get to pick.
I know, and that's Oklahoma's
Oh, I'm
bread
thinking-
and butter. It's prison system. It's locking
Right.
people up. So
I mean, that's the country system.
Oklahoma's real bad.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, because they need to stimulate these rural towns without no economy. And so, in order to provide jobs and stuff like that, you either need to have like big warehousing or something like that. And so, it's best to just slap a prison up in there. Everybody
Or,
can go to work.
a new downtown. What did they just pass? The fucking.
Did they pass it? You talking about the building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
like, more jobs, no taxes. Just kidding. Just look at the fucking bill. It's like, it's all the sales tax. But jobs. No, just. Whatever, bro.
I'm happy we're getting a new building.
Me too. I mean, anything
Good.
to
The
kind of
taxes are
promote
going
opportunity for the city, especially if you own property and stuff like that. I need value to go up, and to create opportunity for those who are here. If we're already established in a place where people are coming, then we already hold the keys to the connections, and so that gives us an advantage as people who are here. Sometimes I think too deeply into this stuff, but
I think it just causes inflation, but whatever.
good.
Inflation's gonna happen.
We already set up.
No, I mean,
You know what I'm
because price
saying?
of living, because opportunity.
That's
But
true.
really, it's just like, oh, we have shitty. That's why I hate the city. Everything's terrible.
That's why Austin
Health.
is tripping right now. Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
They
Austin
moving-
went liberal.
The California people are moving. All the tech companies are like making a move down
And
there.
here.
Hopefully.
The
I
Californians
noticed a
took
lot
it
of
too.
a lot of comedians have moved to Austin. Elon Musk moved to Austin. Like, there's a lot of people moving there. It's just like I'm pretty sure it's like the tax break, pretty much.
Yeah, well, it's
It
the
equals out
cost.
to the same.
Now it is. Like, the cost of living is even skyrocketing down there. There's a message.
Just say it out loud.
Sit still.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
All I
I'm
can
on
hear is your
baby
mic
meth.
doing
So
this
so
number.
so do you want to let us know about your story and
Are
There
your
we go.
parents together?
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
My mother passed away.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's been since 2018. So, where's the camera? There you go. Hello. So I'm from Oklahoma City, born and raised.
Woo!
Kind of in between the city and Choctaw. I have like a really good family, honestly. My grandma was the first black woman to go to OU Law School.
Ooh, shout out.
She's in the Smithsonian. She was just like a rock star. And my dad, he's very influential here. He's on the Capital Preservation Committee. He worked for the Historical Society for 20 years. He was like the first black Secretary of State of something like that, right? And so these are prominent people. My mom, she's super active there. She has like an award named after her. She also was a state employee. And and they were both together since I was married and together since I was born. People in my hood used to call me the Huxtables, before the scandal type of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's because I had a really tight family unit, and so and the crazy deal about it is that did not prevent me from being subject to the type of situations that happen with people who are involved or get caught up into substance abuse disorders. And so because of that, I found I found my comfortability, so to speak, in using substances. And it's not like I just thought, like, I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I really wasn't that guy. It was just like, once I found it, it was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. You know what I mean? Like, ooh wee. I remember the first time I smoked weed. Well, I tried to smoke weed before, but I didn't know how to inhale. So, we used to, this is going to date you a little bit, but we used to go to this place called Funscape,
I know
and we was bad as hell.
You talking about fun? Wait, what's it on the north side?
Yeah,
on Heritage Lane.
It's right next to where the little bowling alley is.
Yeah, right in front of the old bowling alley.
Yes.
That's where I used to go.
And so
right?
I'm like 8 years old. I used to pull up to the skating ring. My parents used to drop me off, and immediately, like, I'll walk across the street and sit outside until somebody buy me like a 40 ounce and a pack of Black. And I mean, if you see me standing up, I don't know if you can see my stature from this perspective, but I'm a little guy, and I've always been a little guy. So when I was 8 years old, I probably looked 4. So shame on you, whoever you are, that bought me that 40 ounce of that Black and Mild. Like,
So you
trash.
were 8 and you're drinking a 40 trying to inhale weed.
Yes. And so one of these guys came over there, somebody from school, thought they was like they said they was from Hoover. We always act like we was gang banging and stuff. And he was like, little nigga, y'all wanna smoke some weed, you know what I mean? And it was me and my best friend Chad at the time. I had 2 Chads. One Chad was good Chad, the other Chad was bad Chad. I was a bad Chad. And I was like, yeah, man. He was like, have y'all smoked weed before? I'm like, all the time, And so he gave us a little joint, and I'm like, just blowing it out, and then all of a sudden, we passing it around, and one of the little kids was like, oh, I'm so high. I see a monkey on the light. I'm like, I see it too. I ain't see nothing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel it. But the first time I actually got real high was when my sister came back with some weed. And she was like, didn't you say you smoked weed before? I'm like, yup. She was like, all right.
Younger,
Go to
older
the
sister?
Yeah, older sister. She's 4 years older. She's like, all right, go. She was like, I need to go get some blunt sticks or whatever. And we didn't have no money. And I already stole all the change off my daddy's drawer. So she was like, don't worry about it, I got a trick. And so she took a Sprite bottle, put a hole in the side, put some foil on the top, took a toothpick, poked some holes on the top. That's just like a bong, regular bong. But when you use a bong, guess what?
You don't get high.
You have to inhale, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no puffing and blowing out. And so, man, I hit that thing, and I must have died coughing. You know what I mean? My homeboy hit it after me, took 2 massive coughs and then threw up, and I died. You know what I mean? Like, I could not stop laughing. I was crying. And when I kind of arisen from that laugh spell, I was like, oh my gosh, I have an overwhelming desire for a popsicle. Best popsicle I ever had in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, well, I'm doing this forever. The sun was shining, the laughs were coming. Yeah, the popsicle was delicious. And I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. This is it right here. Because I had drank like beer or something, but I really never got no effect, right? We steal a little sip from my neighbor across the street. And I may have gotten me a little 40 ounce for all 8 of us to share or whatever, but I didn't really get no effect. After that, though, I felt what it felt like to really change your state of mind. And it was wonderful. And I literally had what they call in the therapeutic community instant onset. So immediately, like, this became my top priority. And because of that, I was my parents had gotten sober when I was 6 or 7, right? And my dad is 30 years sober now. My mom died with 24 years sober. And so since I was about that age, probably about 11 or 12, no, 11, around then, because I went to CIC and they made me go to AI,
A program.
a program, artificial intelligence program. No, I'm just, and so they had me go to these programs and stuff like that. And my parents used to always give me like AA vocabulary words because they was in AA, and and I'm thinking like, they said like, what is humility? I'm like, I don't know. I'm 11 years old. You know what I mean? And would try to convince me to get sober. And I was like, man, like, let me have a good time like every other kid. They're like, kids aren't doing drugs and drinking, it's just me. And but I began to like change my little association. So they had me in Boy Scouts. I was playing T-ball, and I was in Boy Scouts with Good Chad. And Good Chad wasn't trying to do what I was trying to do, so I went and found some new friends. Got me some new friends, and they happened to be gang members and shit like that, and taught me how to sell drugs. And so that way, if I sell drugs and stuff, then I can have as much of what I want to do, and also make just a little bit of profit, So I was like, oh yeah, Mom, you wanted me to be a doctor and a lawyer, maybe, like my grandma. I think I'm gonna try to be John Gotti, but good try, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and they ended up putting me in prison for a long time.
So how old were you when you started getting insurance? When you started feeling the negative effects of it?
It was pretty fast. Probably about 11 years old.
Oh, you was getting locked up then?
I went to CIC when I was 11 for the first time for like trespassing or something like that. And so when I think we got caught with some weed or whatever, and so I had to go to CIC. I went a couple times after that. Then I got caught stealing at Walmart. And my aunt was the juvenile judge. It was horrible.
Oh my God.
And so, yeah, man. So I'd have to go up there and see her. And every time I'd go up there, I would give her like this excuse, like,
Honey, I love you.
No, I was in a car with some people and they was smoking weed, so that's why I came past the UA today. And then another time, like, they held a gun to my head and made me smoke weed. And so eventually she would just make me come up there to the judge's office after school and do a saliva test that tells me the levels and do my homework at the same time. It's crazy.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, man, and so I just kept on getting in trouble. Eventually, I would get some nice breaks. So I ended up with probably like 15 or 16 felony charges at the end. And I would always I would go to rehab. And they let me out and give me some type of probation. Finally, the last case I caught was kind of big. I had like crack, guns, money, and stuff like that. And they tried to, even the police told me, right? We get out the car and I'm in a 2-door Monte Carlo with somebody else driving, and they like, yeah, we looking for a 6-foot white man homicide investigation. I'm like, where he gonna fit under the seat? You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. But they searched, they found all the stuff, and they like, you talking along with it, like, you gonna get probation, you ain't got no charge, but you wiped out. Like, oh my God. Can't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, my whole heart hit my stomach, and that's kind of what they tried to do.
How old was you?
I was 21.
So did they pull you over for doing anything, or just because you
No, you just
fit
had
the
to find it, right?
you fit the homicide?
No. Honestly, it was more to it than that. I was just in a trouble area. I was off of that. I've been sipping syrup all day, so I'm nodded out, sleeping in the passenger seat. a guy that I paid I gave him some weed to make some deliveries for me, like to take me to go pick some stuff up and take me back to the green carpet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, here's the
'Cause I'm
green
hustling.
carpet.
Yeah, man, I got
Green carpet,
I got
what
some
the
work,
fuck?
and and that's where I was hustling at right at the time, and I'm like, take me back over there, and so I'm in the passenger seat eating Red Lobster that this chick just delivered me, and nodding off of this drink, and next thing I know, I wake up and the police is knocking on my window, and because I'm in a troubled area, I saw undercovers and stuff over here, and I'm like, dude, I'm about to get out, and he like, nah, don't worry about it, like I'm gonna hide it for you, and he hid it in his car somewhere, and next thing I know, I kind of wake up and the police is knocking on my window, and I'm surrounded by police. It's like 5 or 6 police cars, and they searching, they didn't find it the first couple times. Captain came like, let me look. And boom, pulled out 2 cookies out of the thing. He like, and that's when they was like, yeah, you wiped out. And so because of that, yeah, they ended up giving me like 145 years. 5 25-year sentences and like 3 5s running concurrent.
So how long did you wind up spending in penitentiary?
About 9 flat.
So how do you do 9? So for those that don't know, how do you do 9 years?
On 25?
Yeah.
Well, so if it's non-violent sentence in Oklahoma, then you only are required to do 1/3 of the sentence.
Okay.
Violent crimes are 85%.
85, yeah.
And so I had a 25-year controlling case. Honestly, I could have got out in 6 and some change, but
Good behavior.
yeah, like if you stay out of trouble,
You
they
don't
got
sell drugs in
Oh,
prison.
so getting in trouble did not wake you up when you got to prison. You continued to get in trouble.
Yeah, of course, because when I'm sitting in a place, you know, surrounded around people who make me afraid and uncomfortable, there's only one way I know to be comfortable.
And have power.
And I mean, it's not even, it's like, so I have to present in a way that is already articulated for my personality. And it's just like, yeah, that's man from Parker State, you got to get it popping. And I'm like, they won't like me unless I'm that person. Right?
So you grew up in Parker State?
Yeah.
My dad lives off 45th.
Is that right?
Yeah, my brothers and sisters, my cousin,
746.
my uncle didn't live on Campbell Road.
Is that right? Yeah, I stayed right on Spring Lake, right on the main street. And so, but yeah, that was an image that they had, because in the like out here in the world, I, you know, had a facade of somebody who was getting money or whatever, like, you know, crazy stuff. But yeah, so when I got there, that's the image I needed to portray. And so I'm like, how do I do it? How do I get it? And I began to pursue the same thing that put me in there, into destruction. So there's for those who don't know, there's a jail inside a prison.
Called the SHU.
Sick.
For people who know, it's called SIG, SHU. For the TV watchers, it's like the hole. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I spent almost 2 years in there by itself, just different little times, because yeah, I wasn't necessarily good. I wasn't like super tough or nothing like that. I mean, I never portrayed. I just kept it $1. I stuck to the script, and I sold drugs in there. And so really, in the penitentiary, the one with the money is the one that called the shots. If you're not a coward or a weirdo. Snitches be okay in there, which is crazy. I never thought that. Like, so you got a different deal when it comes to prison. Like, so me, I had a good family. I was in a troubled environment, and so I've written a book about how these influence pressure on each other and still cause a person to respond in the way that I did. But the people who don't choose this life, 9 times out of 10, when they stuck in it, they have different standards when it comes to that. Me, I watched TV, I saw the people, I invested into an identity, and this is what I was doing. You can't run from a fight, you know, you ain't no snitching, you know, you gotta be, all of this shit. Like, I stuck to the script because I chose the life. People who were stuck in it don't give a fuck. Like, they will snitch on you because you won't sell them no drugs. Like, it's ridiculous, you know?
Petty shit.
I mean, just like it ain't nothing. And some people survive from it, some people don't. It really is a political situation. Like, if you're diplomatic and you know how to kind of finagle within social circles, then you'll be able to make it. And because that's what it's about. I've seen some of the toughest people out in the street, real killers and shit. get in the penitentiary and make one wrong move, you know what I'm saying? Run from a fight or get beat up by the wrong person, get into it with the wrong political figure, and it's over with for them. Everywhere that they go, they are hunted, they are ridiculed, like they have no opportunity for a peaceful living in prison, whatever that
Don't
is.
catch out.
Yeah, like they forced to, you know what I mean? Like they are put in a situation, and so I'm super blessed that I never, man, God was just kind of watching over me on that deal because I just never had that. I was always able to make friends, and of course I had the connections in the street to be able to do what I needed to do.
You're smart.
I'm a survivor. Honestly, I'm just a chameleon, right?
Mm-hmm.
The different environments I had growing up, the exposure that my parents had to regular, let's just say, civilized culture, right? My exposure to each spectrum of that when it comes to cultural differences, and then my experiences spending time in different socioeconomic places
Code switching.
gave me the ability to code switch, right? And so, and it's not like I was faking or nothing. These were
Right.
all adopted pieces of my identity that I could channel and navigate through wherever I was, right? And so that allowed me to yield like a comfortable position. I had everything I wanted in prison. I made probably a $250,000 between 2010 and the middle of 2011. Honest to God, true.
Allegedly.
It's over with now. You know what I'm saying?
You already signed on that.
I mean, honestly, I got taken up on 2 internal affairs investigations, you know, because of interactions that I had in there. Like they tried their best, and I still had to pay repercussions behind that. I got shipped. So it's over with. Yeah, well, you missed it. You missed your shot. You know what I'm saying? And and that was that. But honestly, the cold deal about it was the driver behind all of it was an uncomfortability with life. Right. I'm just looking for a place to feel comfortable. This was not something that was necessarily comfortable for me unless I was under the influence. But I had no scope of where that could be outside of involving myself into this, man. I used to tell people, man, it's so easy to get to the top of the bottom of the barrel, right? Because that's where I didn't want to. I had no clue of how to exercise life on a spiritual level outside of being connected to people through substances or through this one unifying detail, right? And that's all I had. Now, don't get me wrong. I search for God like a motherfucker, right? Like I'm in there, and I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I definitely have the capability to understand stuff. And I read so many spiritual books, right? Bible from front to back, the Quran from front to back. I read the Torah from front to back, right? And I had these concepts so well that I was able to advise people, right? I have this information so down packed. I'm so good with memorization that people would always come to me for information involving that, and I could connect it, and I believed it, but I couldn't.
You understood it. You just couldn't.
Experience it.
Yeah.
Couldn't apply it to the most difficult facet of my life, and that was trying to live life without the influence and the drive and the control of these substances within my life. Like, yeah, I could apply it, you know, to my interactions with people. I was kind. I was like, you know, just within my own influences there. I was equitable. I could mediate situations and bring peace within my environment, but I couldn't bring it within my own soul. Right? And so I would come back and be distraught when I get to my cell thinking like, yeah, I want to love God, but I cannot stop doing this, and I feel so bad about it, and I'd have to keep moving. But knowing today knowing then what I knew today, it would have been different. But now I know that all of this was necessary. It was a necessary experience for me to make the transition I need. Like, you know, pain is God's megaphone, and I needed to suffer so I could hear clear. Right? And that doesn't mean that I know everything right now or have the complete understanding, but today I'm at a place that I never ever thought that I could be. Right? And it's because of these experiences that has given me a spectrum of relativity to be able to connect with people from all different facets couldn't really affect the change to any particular spot because I didn't have the connectivity, right? It was all very a unique experience, honestly. And so this spectrum of experiences that I've had has given me a place to be able to connect with so many people today and experience so many different areas of service that I have found a purpose in life. And this is what we all share that allows us to stay in this place that's real.
So what was your bottom? Like what was that point that you had to get to that made you say, okay, I'm done, I surrender?
It wasn't a point. It was a collectivity. It was I've had several points that helped me to get to the reality that I am a person with a substance abuse disorder. It was the connection between one of those points and an open opportunity that was the catalyst to change, if you will. Because I've had 1,000 points where I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this no more, right? I feel so bad. One of the main drivers for sure was my mother being sick. I called my mom on my illegal cell phone while I was in prison on Mother's Day to say Happy Mother's Day because the trouble I had got in, they had suspended my visits indefinitely, and I couldn't even use the telephone because I'm on what's called level 1. And so the only way I could use the phone is if I went to the office and it was an emergency, and I asked the case manager who ate me to let me call my mom, and I just used my little illegal cell phone, which my mother hated. But this time she answered and was like, I'm like, Happy Mother's Day. And like, okay, son, I got something I got to tell you. Like, I got stage 4 liver cancer, and if I don't get a transplant, they said I won't make it for 2 months. Right? And so I'm in prison listening to this, and I can't even give my mother a hug because my business is gone. And so I'm in total turmoil. And that's when I just went all the way off the rails. And I really didn't give a fuck. And all it did was dug me into more trouble and more trouble. If it wasn't for divine inspiration, I'd probably still be in there. I was dead set on the fact that I was going to die in prison. Because I wasn't on the sidelines or nothing like that. Like, I'm in the mix all the time, right? This is something that people that see me today or know me or interact with me can never fucking imagine, honestly. There's a couple of people that are around me, man. Boogie, I brought him in them. Like, there are people that I try to introduce this life to that really know what it's like and what I was like, man. And there's a totally different person that you see today. And it's not like it wasn't, my core is the same, but my environment dictates the way that I adapt to it. And in that place, I was not. I am in there what I am out here today. Very social, very involved, right? Very into shit. And so that's how I was there. And so at any moment, at any time, I was in some shit that somebody could have most definitely slit my throat and had good reason to probably try to kill me. And so I was dead set on the fact that I was going to die in there. And I was like, fuck you.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Did you do most of your time behind the fence?
Yeah, nearly all of it. Yeah, I spent maybe a year at a minimum.
Explain to viewers what behind the fence means.
Behind the fence is like, at minimums you have like open dorms, and you have like where you have
Free
more
will.
interaction with the other inmates. What I refer to as behind the fence is if you're either a medium, which to me and to most people is the most dangerous you could be at. Medium security is the most dangerous you could be at,
That's right.
and maximum security
Is where the most dangerous people are.
yeah.
But they,
They're
at
locked
maximum
up,
security,
aren't
yeah,
they?
you like 23-hour lockdown. Like, you don't get no
Like
interaction.
jail.
Well, it's like, that's only Oklahoma County jail that's really
Well,
like that. In Oklahoma County, it's really, really difficult to do things. It's like
It's
you go,
difficult to take a shower.
I was
you know,
gonna say
when-
showers. Showers.
Yeah. But let's, that was then. This is now, like, there's been a great transition. And so for anything else, like, yeah, I can get real PTSD about this stuff, and I really do fall back into that same emotion when I think about it. I'll get lost in that shit because I spent
It happened to you, so.
I mean, like, just think about it. 9 years, I'm only 36 years old. It's almost 1/3 of my life in there. Nearly half of my adult life, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was an experience, and most definitely is traumatic. But what's more, the biggest thing about it is the ability to transition into a normal life, to be able to take advantage of community resources, to be offered an opportunity that I have today, which is super crazy. Like, I get to be a good son to my dad today, right? I get to be an uncle to my niece and my nephew, a good friend to my friends, a good mentor to people who actually are looking to find the road that I traveled on, right? This is where it's at. Like, what, 2 weeks ago, I just got back from Italy. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, I saw that.
People don't even know. Like, people that see me, like, I didn't know we could do that. You know, I didn't know somebody who went to prison
We're
can be able
allowed.
to make these moves like that. I'm in graduate school at the University of Oklahoma, right? To get my master's degree in social work,
Hell yeah.
and highly likely to transition into a doctorate program, right? This is what I get to do today, right? And this is all a result of connecting to a greater purpose, connecting to a God of my understanding, and that is from nourishing connections with you all, right? That is a direct reflection of where I'm at with my Creator. When I'm connected to the people, I'm in a good place. But when I'm disconnected, it's not a good sign, right?
Yeah.
And I'm able to see these situations and to have people in my life surrounded around people who can also see these things, even if my eyes have blinders on, right? And that is what I want people to see. I went through all of that stuff. I tell you, all of this traumatic, crazy situations for you to reflect on the fact that today, right, I own a business. I got a couple cribs. I help a lot of people. I'm in graduate school, and I graduated from college with straight A's. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no hindrance, man. Every opportunity I have to interact with people or the public at large, man, I'm trying to inspire some hope, right? I want people to understand, like, you do not have to be trapped by the demons of your thoughts and restrictions. There is no box. There is no scope, right?
Come on.
Like, whatever you want to do, you can do it, right?
Is he a preacher?
No. But this
Inspirational.
is my guy right here. This is my barber. This is a pleasant surprise. I did not know he was gonna be here to be a part of this deal, right? But
I can listen to Fizz talk for hours, man. We make the haircut last like an hour and a half just because we sit there
for
talking.
real, man.
We sit there and talk.
I
all the
remember
time.
when bro was starting to do what he was doing, man, and just to like see that blow, like, from just being a small thing into something like this pretty massive, right? And to not set limitations on it. That's another thing. If you go, when you doing whatever you doing or chasing your dreams, man, have people in your circle that are cheering for you, right?
Yeah.
Have people in your circle that are cheering for you, because there's always going to be people in your circle that are cheering against you, but they have no power when the light of goodness is like in your presence. Right?
That's true.
It's like when you connected up here and around here, them little sores on there, them scabs is gonna peel off and close up wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gotta worry about that. But yeah, man, make sure you surround yourself with people who are like in your
Pumping
corner.
you up.
Yep. Jeff is he's one of the people who is always like
That's
in
a good
my
dude.
corner. Yep. He had just called. I was like, man, I was gonna have him come up here with me. 'Cause
You should have brought him.
That'd be good.
he's crazy. He's a character, but yeah, that's one of them people. Tyler Van Hook. Like, my whole God has just surrounded me around people who are like with the movement, and we inspire each other, and so that's why it's like it ain't no stop. And not to say that it ain't been some hardships, man. I faced all kind of stupid ass decisions, like self-inflicted hardships in this. And today, this is like a new life, right? Honestly, and so
Well, you're learning. You're not gonna like perfectly just.
none of it is
Descend
enough
into
to
the
say
heavens.
fuck it all, right? And that's a miracle, because anything back in the day was a perfect excuse to just be like, oh, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, God damn it, I stumped my toe again. This is some bullshit. Like, my life is horrible, you know. Nah, man, it's all good because the opportunity is still there. As long as I'm living and connected to my purpose, like, it don't even matter what I'm doing. Like, if I'm chasing a business deal that's going to make me millions of dollars, right? Yeah, I want to make millions of dollars, but what I have to do is I have to, like, simulate in my mind, like, how can I help people, right? How can this be something to help people? Because if I make this shit all about me, it is all bad.
I was just about to ask.
Right.
Ego.
Man.
Where's the ego checks?
It is all bad. And yeah, if I don't choose humility, then I am humiliated, right? And so that was something that I learned very early on. And you know what?
Call that out to the parents.
I'm gonna give the viewers a priceless jewel that I've been able to use, right? This is something on Austin shirt. This is Austin calling too. Austin is one of my cheerleaders. He changed my life. He was like he was my sponsor for 5 years. He really laid out everything for me in this new world, and I appreciate that if you're seeing that. But look, these are my 5 rules of interaction, and I learned this in prison from doing business.
Marketing.
Marketing, thank you. My 5 rules is this, right? So rule number 1 is have a connection with a greater purpose. I say trust in God, right? I know I don't have all control. Hell, I'm just a small fish in a big sea anyway, right? So I can only do so much, so trust in God. Rule number 2 is treat people the way you want to be treated, right? But you never give more than you can stand to lose. My initial interaction with you, yeah, it's going to be freeing. Like, can I have $1? Sure, you can have $1, right? I would want somebody to give me $1 if I was asked for it. Can I have $10,000? Absolutely not. I can't stand to lose that. You know what I'm saying? And they like, all right, can I borrow $5? Sure, you can borrow $5, right? When you going to have it back?
Can
And
we measure this in energy?
In whatever, like whatever you give, right? When I say don't give more than you can stand to lose, I mean emotionally, physically, mentally, right? Intellectually, never give more than you can stand to lose. But you always want to offer somebody something because you want it too. If I ask you, I want to give, so I'm gonna loan you $5, right? You say you're gonna give it back to me tomorrow. Now, if you come back and you're like, you know, oh man, something happened. Like, can I give it back to you Thursday? Cool, right? If you come back and tomorrow was like, here's your $5, cool, right? If I see you down the hall and you like ducking behind the corner, cool. It's all good, right? Because I don't give more than I can stand to lose in the first place. But with that, with 2 brings you to 3, and rule number 3 is people are gonna be who they're gonna be. What makes me better equipped to dealing or interacting with anybody is assessing their character and responding accordingly, right? If you've shown me who you are, it's my duty to believe it, right? Like, believe it and don't place myself in a position to be fucked up by you. So if you came to me and was like, all right, I'm gonna bring it back to you Thursday, because I was like, all right, cool, I know how to deal with you, right? If you bring it back to me the next day, I know how to deal with you, right?
Accountability.
Yeah, and if you ducking and dodging from me, please don't even worry about it. Like, hopefully that keeps you away from me. You know what I mean? Keep that, have that, be joyful and merry, do what you do, right? But if you do that and I come back to you and do it again, and guess what? Whose fault it is? Whose fault is it that I lost my money?
Oh, it's on you. 100%.
100% on me, right? And rule number 4 is just don't panic. Yeah, so what? Like, this person does this person does that. I don't have to react in a panic way off of that. Because if I do, I might make an impulsive move that has consequences, you know, that wasn't necessarily something that had to happen. And rule number 5, of course, is humble yourself before you are humiliated. Because I can go impulsively into a situation and find myself humiliated by it. How that happened was this nigga owed me some money, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go beat him up, and ended up with my shit split and my money gone. You know what I'm saying? I'll never do that again. There's one thing that can make you sacrifice all the wisdom that you may have, and that's impatience, right? I may know a lot. I may know better. I know this, I know, but I want it right now, and I do it, and I just sacrifice everything that I think that I know, right? I'm a bypass that, man. I was to somebody in prison the other day, a brother of a friend of mine, and this is the information I'm trying to give to him. Because if I interact like that, period, I'll never be dissatisfied with my interactions. And people like us cannot afford to have this set of dissatisfaction with our interactions. Some of us call them resentments, right? And without the tools to be able to work through these things and process them the right way and to look at our responsibility in our interactions and pay only attention to that, then we're doomed anyway to make bad decisions. But today,
Preach.
I can stay accountable.
Lord.
And I only have to be accountable for me, right? And this is how I get to move today. This is how I get to move and live a life reasonably happy all the time, right? Even when it's fucked up, like, boom, I get to be okay because I know, honestly, I have a lot of control over the way I interact and respond in life. I can't have no control over you, but my reaction to it can be all up to me. I can choose to be happy and fucking,
Let it go.
let that shit go or learn from it. Like, this is a lesson. As long as I'm alive, boom, I can use every situation as a prerequisite for a similar situation to occur in the future, and I can have a little more knowledge of how to respond to it. Right, this is how I get to navigate through life. Brought me on here. You want to know how I think? This is the basis of most of my thought processes.
We're gonna have to charge for this podcast.
Charge for it. Game is to be so. No, it's
No,
giving
this
it
is
away
free to the community.
for fun and for
This
free.
is the people's podcast.
With their,
It was a joke. Y'all.
so I got a question.
No, I.
Did you run a store whenever you were locked up?
What?
Yes. A store of all kinds.
I
You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say a food store. That's what I meant.
I mean, no, not really. Honestly, no. I mean, I had people who ran a store for me, like as an investment opportunity for people to make money and stuff like that. But no, I did sell products there, or services, products, whatever. Right? I had a hustle in prison. You know what I mean? Because services sound like something I didn't do none of that. But it ain't get that bad. You know what I'm saying? But I did. I offered opportunity for people, for sure. I had people that was getting ice for me. They had, paid job,
Laundry.
for sure. I had somebody who waxed my floor for me. Delivery services, storing services. Yeah, man, I was an equal opportunity employer. Give everybody a shot, especially the people who was like real cool and loyal. Like, we gonna find you a position, right? And you're gonna get paid well for it. Honestly, this is when I really adopted. In prison was when I really adopted like a, let's say,
Business set.
a conservative mindset. For real, I understood the trickle down effect type of deal. I'm serious
You're
because
pro-Reaganomics.
I mean, not necessarily. I just look at everything from because like you couldn't give everybody the opportunity for a product in bulk, right? Because they would blow it. There was so much dependent upon the mental stimulation of the public. Because if they don't have substances, everybody going crazy.
Oh yeah.
They call it dope emotions, right?
Yeah, or dry spell.
And so people are fighting it, they are tripping, but when the public is fed, there is peace in the land, right? So if I was to give anybody and everybody a chance to, there's only so much supply, right? And the demand is high. So if everybody had this large amount of supply, it would be gone in a day.
Right.
And then it will be chaos in the land the next day.
You just need good management.
Exactly. So you see who has the potential to keep the stability of the public, and you offer them an opportunity. And there you go. Like president, right? I could probably have been president.
We are 1 year old. I mean, I turned 35 in July,
I'm
so
36.
we are all now old enough to be president. So don't put that out of your little box.
I won't.
Cause it's still in my box and I ain't doing shit.
I wouldn't really want to be president. I would like to be behind the
Yeah.
president. You know what I mean?
Where you actually get to do things.
Yeah, I want to be the influence behind. I found out the limelight is not really where it's at. You want to be the
Not
battery.
Yeah.
The battery behind the flashlight. You just show them this so we can operate stuff.
But with humility.
So you got all this going on, man. It's great turnaround. What about family and kids? Is that in the future for you?
Yeah, when it's so I set a goal set. I'm so grateful that God gave me, did not give me everything that I wanted when I wanted it, because I'd have probably fucked myself off. But my idea is this: I need to be finished with school, number one. At least I need to be in a career set that is paying me $100,000 a year. I need to own both of my homes outright. I still owe a little bit on one of them, right? And my vehicles I need to own outright. I need to have $30,000 liquid cash in my account, and I need to have a spouse that's making at least 50. And then I can manage a family.
So that's just your criteria of the woman out there of your goal.
That's
It's
just
just make 50.
That's just it's so simple. Like
Just make 50. You know.
it really is like a $50,000, because you have to have like $150,000 honestly to have a comfortable life. If I could offer, if you don't have a choice, you're gonna make it do what it do, right? But if I have a choice in setting up an operation, and Lord knows it won't probably be exactly like that, but somewhere at least I have a target.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, we can make more than that.
You know
in
that's
my
not
side
what I was
business.
asking though.
What?
I'm
Do I have
asking like do you have a checklist? Like she would have earlier I was listening to a podcast. I was talking about high value men. Like would she have to no kids, 50,000, never been married, like
I would prefer
a 10.
I would prefer that. You know what I mean? But that's not realistic. I'm just looking for a real deep connection. I'm not even looking for that right now. Like,
Right.
so I have fun. Literally, I was just talking about this the other night. Man, I can get up. Sometimes I just get up and I shoot to Texas, or shoot to Dallas, or go to a show, or fucking stay the night in another state, or go to
Freedom.
overseas. Yeah, I don't want that type of accountability right now. I've been in prison for almost a decade. You know what I mean? I've only been out of here for 6 years. I ain't trying to hurry up and be.
I mean, I'm just trying to
Changing
think for the
diapers.
future. Like you have your
If
goals
you out
for
there
yourself.
and you trying to come holler, like, please.
That's not what I was
Have
doing.
your shit together.
50,000. Yeah, I got
50,000.
Like having
a
it-
10. No baby.
No, this is what's really most important to me when it comes to a partner or spouse. Intellect. Challenge my intellect.
For real.
Right? I mean, I need to be able to have a conversation with you. I need to be able, I'm a talker, obviously, right? How long I can talk, right? And so I need somebody that's going to stimulate my intellect. Like, challenge it almost.
Teach me something, bitch.
And there's some, shout out to Denise. She is, that is my, always going to be my basis. Man, she is the one who helped me set the design for approaching this. Man, she also went to the feds for like 6 or 7 years, and she's got 2 master's degrees from OU. She's got a business, you know what I mean, to manage her stuff just on point. I always check with her she helped me to balance my finances, man. She always will be like the love of my life, though. But we
Oh,
just
she set the
friends.
bar though.
She did.
Ooh.
She did.
That's a high bar.
She with that stuff. She traveled. She showed me about getting a passport. Like, that's my dog. And so I always give credit where credit is due. And she's the one. She's gonna love me for
Hell
that.
yeah.
She's gonna make me oxtails tonight for that.
Ooh, I don't.
I've never eaten oxtail.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bring you.
Let's all go to her house.
She's got a taco truck too, so
Ooh,
Oh, yeah?
I love tacos.
we're gonna have to put y'all on.
Yeah. put us-
Shout out to 23rd Street Tacos. We coming. We
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, man. So you know a lot of people on the east side?
I did, man. And I mean, so the brain only has so much space for occupation. honestly.
That's true.
And so what I found was like when I was in prison for all that time, it's like I knew everybody in prison. I could connect the dots on everybody, and I forgot all about people. I didn't even know streets out here no more. When I got out of prison, all I still knew was people in prison. And so when I saw people that I knew, it was like, I know you, but where do I know you from, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking it connects back there. And now, like, so those places and people are lost. When I see them, I honestly have shaped my interactions in a way that I know who I know by what they call me. Right? So people who from school are gonna call me Emake. If somebody was like, "Hey, Emake," I'm gonna know exactly where I know them from. It's either gonna be school now, school back then, or some type of professional world, but not necessarily. And if somebody calls me McLeod, I know them from Illuminati, right? If somebody calls me Fish, it's either early Illuminati and prison, or, you know what I'm saying? And if somebody calls me Fisher, it's probably from my own company that I own.
Okay.
Compartmentalization 101. I'm gonna show you how to do something, people.
Take this class tonight at 7.
Okay, so for the viewers, you know, I get a lot of messages from people who are struggling and they just don't know how to get out of it. If they were to ask you that question, how do you do it? What would I mean? If you could sum it up just in a sentence, what would you tell them? How do I stop using and stop drinking? Every morning I wake up and I want to and I just can't.
Oh, find somebody who's been successful doing what you're trying to do and do exactly what they did.
But I don't want to reach out.
You talk.
I won't make the call.
Well, pray. Pray about it. But if you don't do nothing,
Nothing's
nothing's gonna change, right? Like, what do you want? Do you want me to, like, what is your goal set? Do you want me to give you a pill that'll make it stop? Right? Do you want me to,
No one can do it for
do
you.
you want me to make you feel good about what you're gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
Ego.
what do you really want, right? And so we gotta my deal is let's set a goal and then let's figure out the steps we have to take to get there. Start small and look long, right? Case management 101. So if you ask me for help, it just depends, man. I used to always tell my clients, like, all right, you tell me what you want. If you want to just get out of trouble, right? You want to try to skip through the lines, like, that's fine. We're going to approach it like that, right? But if you want to really make a change, we can approach it like that. One thing is my mom and them always told me, it's two people you never lied to. Who are they?
Yourself.
Who are they?
I know it's yourself and God.
No. Your doctor and your lawyer. Because you can't lie to God, right? You know what I mean? No matter what. And honestly, you can't lie to yourself either, but unless you're like delusional. However, you can't get no help if you lie to your doctor or your lawyer, because if they don't know what's really going on, they can't really help
That sounds
you.
like rich people shit. Okay, not everybody has a doctor and a lawyer.
Thank
so.
you, Mom. Thank you.
Yeah, you're privileged.
So what that means is this, though. For the people who are trying to help you, if they don't know what's really going on, they cannot assist you.
Honesty.
They cannot assist you. So if you trust somebody enough to ask them to yield their help and advice, whatever the subject matter is, you probably ought to approach it honestly. So if you're trying to start a business and you go and ask somebody about how to make this business successful, don't try to show off to them and act like you're doing well. Like, give them the whole scope of it, right? Straight up, you know. If you trying to lose weight, don't try to impress them by telling them you're eating celery when you know you're eating Reese's Pieces. You know what I'm saying? They can't help you. So yeah, that's a part of that scope.
Since rock bottom was touched on a little bit, I had heard, y'all don't know, I've never met either of y'all. I'm not in recovery, so this is just me looking outside. But someone said, like, there isn't something like rock bottom. There's always, like, an additional rock bottom that you'll make for yourself.
Yeah.
And it will happen repeatedly.
the
Until-
grave is rock bottom. Rock bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
So, would you agree with that?
Yeah. I would
That
say-
there's not like a, hey, what was your
Well,
rock bottom?
well, we want to say, I'm gonna change the terminology. It's not, we ain't gonna call it rock bottom. Catalyst to change, right? What is the catalyst? What was the element that changed the situation? Because many of us who have had plenty of rock bottoms
Yeah.
know we've had thousands of them. We've had thousands of situations in which we have, expressed to our innermost selves that this can't go on like this and something has to be done different. Many times we try to take a different path or initiate a different way of thinking, but it's just a maladaptation. Like, it's just an adaptation to what we want. It's not
Yeah.
a total change, if you will.
So I got a question. I know that you run Sober Living. How exactly did you get into that?
Well, it was a cold day. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, man, I was, so, this is kind of warm, but, alright, I just got out of prison. I was living with my mom. Of course, I'm trying to spend time with her. She lived to see me get out of prison. She died when I was 6 months old. And, because of her cancer, she had put a mortgage out on this house. She was really doing bad financially. And so what I was doing was fixing up this house to be able to move in it, take over the mortgage. All right. My friends had sober houses at the time, and he couldn't manage it. And so I had good energy and recovery and stuff like that, and he thought I had leadership capabilities, and he asked me to just manage it. You don't have to live there. You just manage the sober house. And so I was. And I was managing the sober house. I was going to hospitals and institutions to try to bring a message of hope to the still suffering substance abusers out there. And I was at a rehab, and one of the guys who asked me to mentor them got kicked out of the rehab. He was like, I don't want to go back home. I'm going to end up using and drinking. And I was like, man, all right, well, I'm going to put you in a sober house, but first I got to get you a job. And so until I get you a job, because I didn't want to take advantage of my position. I couldn't do it anyway. He had to have a move-in fee. And so I was like, you can just stay in my house. Now, my house didn't have anything in it at the time. Zero. Like, no bed, no furniture, no nothing, right? I just have a house, right, with electricity and stuff. And I'm actually working on it. I just finished painting it at the time. I had no flooring or nothing. And I was just like, all right. I said, Mom, I'm going to go stay over here so this guy can have a place to stay. I took an air mattress over there, and I had a piece of carpet. And I gave him the air mattress, and I slept on the carpet. It was my first person over there. And it's not because I'm just selfless like that. If you spend 10 years on a pan, them beds ain't comfortable no more. It's too soft, you know what I mean? But it did make me look good, so I was like, you take the bed. That's in my backup, you know what I'm saying? So I took the carpet, and then I had another guy who left this place, TRC or whatever, and he didn't have a place to go. And you know how it is early in your sobriety, like you are all on a cloud, and I'm like, I just want to give, and so I had him move over there, and I ended up getting 2 beds from somebody who saw what I was. They was like, here, I got some beds. I took 2 bunk beds, made them 2 beds, right? And then I took my air mattress back and blew it up real tight. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, my buddy who had the sober house was like, I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get them in your house. He like, why don't you just start a sober house? And this was at 6 or 7 months sober.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's been rocking ever since.
God
Shout
was
out to
like,
Back to
here you
Basics.
go. You
Yeah.
can handle it.
Well, it was just the initiate. I'm so glad the people who were around me, and people give this one guy a lot of shit, but he changed my life, honestly. And this is one of his philosophies, man. The more you give, the more you get, right? I saw people around me just making it a point to, like, be able to, offer people opportunity, man. He told me this. He said the best way to learn something is to teach it, right? He had asked me at this point, I'm a, peer recovery support specialist, and I'm working it. And he asked me, he was like, "What's the best way to get to get sober?" And I'm like, "Well, you need to get connected with a high." He's like, "Nope, Like you need to get a sponsor. Nope. He's like, the best way to get sober is to teach somebody how to get sober. True story. He said, what's the best way to get rich? Right? Show somebody how to get rich. I'm like, what if you ain't rich? He said, you'll become rich by trying to show somebody else how to become rich. True story. Best way I learned how to learn is to teach. Because like, you're gonna gain the material. I don't know how it works like that, but it's a true story. This is the way I made straight A's in college. Is that I would come back from class and I would teach the other people in my house what I learned. The operation of retention. I'm giving you some.
I've personally seen you do this before. Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
And
this is what we do. And if you're in recovery, it really is the basis of how you stay. Right?
What is that called? A habit?
It is. Well,
Repetitive?
it's a cycle. I'll tell you that.
Cycle of love?
The circle of life.
Yeah. It's like a circle.
It's good.
man, that's amazing. That's super awesome how much you do for people. You also run a tree service too. You are a busy man. I'm so, like I literally I was gonna have you on here for Black History Month, but she is asking about it, and I was like, well, and I was going to reach out to you, but I knew you were in Italy.
Yeah,
And
it's your fault we didn't get it.
Oh,
Now
dang.
it's Woman History Month. We ain't got no bitches.
Is it Woman History Month?
it's
Is that why there's nothing but women movies in the movie right now?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I did not know that.
I don't.
I did not know that.
shout out to the women out there.
Thanks.
So,
One woman.
speaking of Black History Month, let me tell you how much of a rock star my pops is, though, because that's his area. So my dad has Parkinson's disease, right? And so he can barely even speak. But one of the most beautiful pieces about, because my dad had gotten sober, and my dad at the end of my grandmother's life helped her to finish her autobiography, right? And he talked about this from a podium at one point about that being a part of his amends process. Well, my dad just published a book, and I got to be a part of getting the book deal done and like helping him to market it and send it out. It's an awesome little deal. He did a children's coloring book for Black history, and it's all Oklahoma, historians, so to speak, or people.
Like Claire Walker, Claire Looper.
Stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, like stuff you didn't know, like the guy who helped to bring the state seal back to Oklahoma City from Guthrie.
Oh yeah.
I love history
little
like
heist
that.
deal, and it's a coloring book. And at the end of the coloring book, he has a organization, because it's sponsored through like Senator Anastasia Pittman and Bob Blackburn, who was the director of the Oklahoma Historical Society, and so they set up a thing where it gives you a set of questions to ask your family to collect your own family history. And it's just not, of course, for Black people. It's for everybody, and then you send it in, and they put it in a time capsule and in a cloud, and you get this certification authenticity deal. The Oklahoma City Thunder had already bought their copies and stuff of it. And matter of fact, they did a press conference with one of the it was Kendrick
Perkins.
No, it was Kendrick Williams, I think is his name. I don't even watch sports no more. But anyways, they had some of the players come up there to I think it was like Moon Middle School or elementary or something like that, and we did a big press conference and stuff. The point is like, man, he's got incredible health issues, and is still like pushing. And I get to be a son that helps to push that through today. And like, he's one of my heroes, man. He's just so solid, and I get to be able to do that. And so, speaking of Black history, go get you one of these books.
What is it called?
It's called We Remember.
Oh, that's sweet. By your father's name.
Bruce Fisher,
Bruce Fisher.
the big fish.
Go out there and get that book.
I'm gonna put a plug on here.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah. Let me link it underneath all the stuffs.
It's really awesome.
I want to buy it.
Damn, my Apple Watch is saying time to stand.
That's what mine's been saying.
Why?
Time to
So,
stretch.
what's going to be our guest next week? Is it to be
I'm,
determined?
it's to be determined right
Okay.
now. I'm working on it right now, but it's probably gonna be a girl.
Yeah, we
just-
probably
just-
should.
Yeah, a woman.
Ariana Grande.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So,
I know her.
what we like to do is ask what would your question be for our next guest next week?
Okay.
And answer your question. You remember me sending it to you.
Oh, I kind of did through all of this, but so to answer the question, like, what am I doing to make the most of my second opportunity in life? Offer other people an opportunity to find them a second.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or a third, or a fourth, or a fifth. You know what I
I'm
mean?
saying, like,
It
there's
don't
like
stop.
5 lives up in there.
That's powerful.
Some
Like,
people.
what it clicked to me, man, when he asked me about the sober house deal is that one of my best friends in the whole world was the third member of my sober house. His name was William Klein. And William Klein died October the 16th, I think. And that changed my whole little world. So my best buddy, he died of fentanyl overdose. And sometimes you don't get that other chance. We get 1,000 of them. We get more than just a second chance. We get a second chance and a second chance. But everybody don't get it. Everybody don't get a second chance. So if you do have one, yeah, I would promote you to do your best to find a way to take advantage. And if you don't know how, find someone who you believe is taking advantage of their second chance and ask them what they did and do what they do. Tried and true every time. Now, for my question, for a girl.
Well, technically, it'd be for him. Because he's our next guest, technically.
Well, technically, he's our
Yeah,
guest
technically,
before
that's
this.
the episode.
I mean, whatever.
But
Just
he-
kidding.
You can ask 2 questions if you want.
So, all right, well,
Oh, this would be good.
for
Ooh.
what can you do for Nemo? I would say, how do you stay humble? How do you work towards humility? Like, what do you do? Because this is my guy, man. He don't really ever change, and I like that about him. And so I want to know his method. Like, when I say find somebody who does what you want to do and ask them what they do, that's what I mean. If he's an example of that, like, he stays. This man has not changed the price of my haircuts. You know what I'm saying? That is 100, and he could for sure. This is that
Let
good.
me do
I
sweet
would,
bud.
I would say I constantly remind myself of where I came from, and I constantly lean on my higher power. But from the outside looking in, because of what has happened with me with social media and blowing up like I have, a lot of people's view and perspective on me is, oh, your ego is too big. But they don't know me personally, and they don't come get a haircut from me. They don't see me day to day with my wife and family. They don't know that I'm the director of 4 sober living houses and that I help multiple men every day. So what they're seeing is big numbers, and they're judging me off big numbers. But those big numbers, I give credit to God and God alone, because I am only here because of Him. So how do I stay humble? Is I constantly remind myself of where I was and who has brought me this far.
Amen. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I'm talking about. That's a blessed haircut you get when you go and get that haircut from Nemo. That's really good. I love it. Or old lady.
I'm actually messaging somebody right now.
We'll figure it out.
If it's a lady. Or
Who-
not a lady.
Who are you? Unrestricted.
Unrestricted?
Who are they unrestricted? That's a really good question.
Unrestricted.
She's wanting you to elaborate. I can see.
Sorry, I can't not emote, so.
Sure. No. The question is for the perspective of the beholder.
Oh,
Right.
that's good. I
But
like
if
that.
she doesn't understand it,
Just haven't- I mean, what do you think that question
yeah,
is?
I feel like you might know.
I would say, who are you when no one's looking?
What do you think that
Okay.
question means?
Integrity.
Okay.
All right.
Something like that. So
With
without
no
without
restrictions.
yeah, without
Without
the outside
boundaries.
influence, without thinking that you have to be a certain
Who
way.
are
Without
you?
posting it.
Yeah, like who are you really? Like we talking about values here,
Mm.
and it's honestly a question that most people are not going to be able to answer on a dime. Hopefully,
That's
it's going
why I
to be
let
something
them know ahead of time, a
yeah,
week.
that they can think about, and hopefully it inspires them to connect with their own values. See,
Yeah.
everything we do today, man, I want to add to the stream of life, so I hope that that question adds to their whoever it is personal perspective.
Me too.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, man. It's always an inspiration. I love hearing you talk, dude.
It was-
And thank you, Nemo.
Yeah.
I don't
Nemo.
know the book. I want to read it.
This was good.
Nemo, I'm happy to have you here. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a new experience. It's something different.
Hey, I'm fixing to soak up all this game, especially right here on the music
Yeah.
side. Yeah, y'all don't even understand for real. I'm about
Good.
Y'all
to,
better watch out for his new track. It's coming out.
And some of these people I mentioned, I'm gonna try to send y'all away so
Do it.
y'all can,
Hell yeah.
so we can get this popping, because this is a beautiful deal.
Let's make it a
So you want to shout out Back to Basics?
Shout out to Back to Basics, Stacy, Cooper, Austin, all of my my ground members. You know what I mean? My people that started it from the base up. I love you, Jeremy, Justin. Like, man, we got a good crew.
Shout outs, bro.
We got a good crew.
Y'all got any more people y'all want to shout out?
I could go on forever.
AKA.
You know you. If you see this, you know you, and I love you. What else? There's one more thing. Love yourself. Self-love is where it's at. Like, find it.
Love it.
I have one
Absolutely.
question I just want to get on record. I guess this could be for everybody, but you two seem, I don't know, imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Thoughts?
That's a good question.
Well, if you stay doing what he do, like if you stay being in a state of gratitude, then you just know that you weren't. I don't think you get caught up into that. Like, I don't belong here. You just are in awe of what God can do in your life. Because it's a fine line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the best course is the middle course in between extremism and negligence, right? And so we want to just find that route that says, I am grateful for where I'm at, but I don't forget where I came from, right? And I know that it isn't all me, though I know I put the effort involved to take advantage of an opportunity. Somebody told me, he said, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So know that you were prepared, but you also got an opportunity.
I just told that to my wife walking out the door right before coming here. I swear.
That's crazy.
She said good luck. I said I don't believe in luck. And then I told her that right there.
That's right. Never give luck God's credit.
That's good.
Man.
Well, thank you guys. This has been around the block. How would you say that?
Been around.
No,
Been
this
around
has
the
been around the block. That sounds super.
This has been.
We've been
the
around.
block.
We're around the.
We're going around the
We're
block.
here.
This podcast is named "Been Around the Block." Thank you
Yeah.
for listening.
It's been good.
Bye.
All right.